Hello, hello. Let's play some Fate Stay. All right. This is the visual novel in. Actually, you can see there's icons up here. It's actually a web browser that's doing it. That has this hosted. Um, this is hosted on a website actually, which is pretty cool. Like you can just read the entire visual novel online. Don't even need to download anything. Technology, man, crazy. Um, yeah, I first played this game back in 2006, 2005, somewhere around there. Seven, 5, 6, 7, 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. And my legacy for this game is, let's see if the even get like animations and stuff. It's pretty cool. My legacy of this game is I had quiet audio settings. Right? Oh, there we go. Audio was a little quiet. Um, yeah. So, hey, Kit. It is the game with Saber, yes. Um, yeah, I was saying my legacy for this game, 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. And uh, I had a friend who was hanging out with me like every day, just come over after school or whatever. Uh, and he ended up like having his own computer at my place. He hung out with me so much. I'm peeking a little bit. There we go. Audio ranges, man. Um, yeah, my friend ended up just chilling. I think he came over to my place so often that he just ended up having a second computer at my house. I think it was a spare computer or something, or an old computer of his or something. So he just brought that computer. So we always had like casual LAN parties, or where you just chilled and hung out and browsed the internet and crap, the stuff you did back in the day, back into the 2005 era. So he found this game, and I should ask him how he found it, but he found this game through, I don't know, forums. I mean, we always browsed these anime forums back then. We always browsed like weird forums back then and things like that. And he found this game, and he ended up being an alpha tester for the company's called Mirror Moon that translated these games, did the fan English translation for these games called Mirror Moon, and he was basically an alpha tester for them. And I would look at his screen, and he'd be like playing this game with weird text and animations on screen, and I was like, "What are you playing?" And he's like, "It's called Fate Stay Night." I was like, "Oh, weird," and I just kind of left it at that. And then after a while, I saw him playing more and more, and I saw more pictures and more visual novel elements of it. And I was like, what is this? Can I play this? He's like, yeah, you can probably play it. So he had me like sign up to be a tester or whatever as well. And I ended up being like in the beta test for Mirror Moon. And I think back then it went to probably halfway, halfway translated or something. I think they had the first Fate route translated. There's 3 routes to the game. They had the first route translated, and then they had Unlimited Blade Works like halfway translated. And then they didn't even start on the last route yet. I think it took until like 2010 for them to get Heaven's Feel fully translated, if I recall correctly. Um, yeah, it was a crazy long time. But, you know, fan translations, everyone has lives, and they were doing this for free, basically. But this is what we play today. If you ever experienced the original Fate Stay Night visual novel, you play a test, something that me and my buddy tested the English translation of way back when. And, you know, to this day, you're still playing this English translation from Mirror Moon. Mirror Moon is still around today, and they're still translating some stuff. I think they're working on uh, there's another Type Moon visual novel that's unrelated to Fate stuff that I think they're working on at the moment. So they're still around. But yeah, that's kind of my legacy with this visual novel. So I created Fate and Amogus. Yeah. That is my legacy of finding Fate. My legacy of, you know, being a fan in general. You know, I fell in love with Saber, of course, from Fate route, and her route really struck a chord with me at the time, and I loved it a lot. And then I played Unlimited Blade Works and enjoyed that a lot. You know, makes you feel for Emiya and stuff like that, and Archer, and and my friend told me about Heaven's Feel, and it wasn't out yet. Again, it took a while for Heaven's Feel to come out, but my friend told me he was testing Heaven's Feel, and the things he was telling me, I was completely baffled by. I was like, "What? That's like way different than Unlimited Blade Works and Fate Route." And then it took me a long time to actually want to play it. I think I played it in 2012, somewhere around there, 2011, 2012. And I ended up playing it and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was awful. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it. And to this day, I still look back and I'm like, well, I mean, I probably don't hate it necessarily now, but it's definitely below my other enjoyment of the other routes. And Fate Route is generally seen as like the vanilla, like boring, generic, typical action route and all that stuff. And a lot of people don't like Fate Route. Fate Route's typically the worst route to everybody, to a lot of people. Unlimited Blade Works frequently the best route, deservedly so. Unlimited Blade Works is great. And then some people's favorites are Heaven's Feel, which is all right. I mean, if you enjoy Sakura and her story, then I can definitely see Heaven's Feel being your favorite for sure. It's just not my cup of tea. Fate Route is my adoration for sure. So anyway, this is the beginning of the visual novel on a website. Let's read. It was a thrust like lightning, a spearhead thrust to pierce my heart. Trying to dodge it would be useless. Being lightning, it's invisible to the human eye. But the lightning that tries to pierce me is repelled by the moonlight that tries to save me. Clang, a beautiful sound. Oh, it's a little glitchy. I think the audio's a little... There we go. Now we got audio. Clang, a beautiful sound. No, the sound before me is heavier than steel. The armor she is wearing is not beautiful at all, and as unrefined as the cold night. The sound wasn't beautiful at all. It was actually the sound of steel. It's just the night is beautiful enough to turn it into a charming sound like a bell. I ask of you, are you my master? She asks in a voice that lights up the darkness. I have come forth in response to your summons. From this time forward, my sword shall be with you, and your fate shall be with me. Now, our contract is complete. Yes, the contract has been completed, when she chose me as her master. I'm sure I swore to help her, too. The moonlight still lights up the darkness, as if following the night's example. The shed again falls silent. Time has stopped. The scene lasts less than a second, but I'm sure I'll remember this scene vividly even when I've gone to hell. The face slightly turned, the quiet green eyes, the instant becomes an eternity. The blue outfit symbolizing her sways in the wind. Faint blue light filters in. The golden hair shines in the moonlight. Now this scene, Type Moon loves this scene. They repeat this scene in a lot of their works. And a lot of Fate stuff. It's pretty funny. Just have the servant standing there asking if they're the master. There's a reference to it in Fate Grand Order, I believe, as well. This is a story from 10 years ago. Okay, well, this is now 10 years ago. I'm watching someone I know very well, a tall man with a deep-featured face, who to my knowledge has never told a joke, is patting my head. No, that's not quite right. I guess he doesn't know how much strength to use. So to be more accurate, he's grabbing my head and mashing it around. I guess that's only to be expected after all. That's the first time he's ever patted my head. I'll have to get going now. You know what to do now, right? I answer the deep voice with a polite yes. The man patting my head nods once. Let's go, and stand up, and stands up. So that was it. If I'd known then that it was our final moment together, I would have made him laugh with my best jokes. I had practiced telling jokes a lot, in the hope that I could bring a smile to his grave face. I guess you could say that I was sad that I couldn't tell him any of them. Put the association in your debt by the time you mature. I'll let you decide what to do after that. You should be able to take care of yourself. Even though he said such things, I guess he was still worried. He told me about the heirloom jewels, the jewels inherited from the master, and how to manage the basement, as he was telling me all the things I didn't know didn't yet know. I realized even as a child that most likely he wouldn't be coming back. Now the audio might glitch out. I don't know. Sometimes these things are just pure silence. Sometimes they have audio. So it might just be a side effect of the website. Let me try in a different browser. All right. Oh yeah, you got voice acting now too. Although I'm speaking, so voice is low. He wouldn't be coming back. A war had started, not a war between countries, but a war between people. The only ones at war were 7 people. In a situation like this, the word war should be unsuitable, but here it's a different story, as the ones in conflict are magi. Magi? Maggie? Magi? Magi. Mage? Mages? Mages. Magi. Magi? Mages. Magi. The 7 magi, each from a different faction, had started to compete for unknown reasons and killed each other in unknown ways. The man standing before me was one of them. He too was in a position to kill or be killed. He must have known more keenly than I did that his time was near. Rin, the Holy Grail will appear eventually. It is our duty as the Tosaka family to win it. More importantly, if you want to be a magus, you can't avoid it. Once more, he patted my head and left. That was the end. That was the last time I saw the man who entered the Holy Grail War as a master and died. The man who was my teacher as well as my father. I think you do learn what happens to him. Take care, father. I see him off politely. I knew I was on the verge of crying, but I shed no tears. I loved him. He was a great father and a great magus. Among magi, there are only obstinate people. In the whole world, I don't think anyone had a better character than his. He taught me as a teacher and loved me as a father. That's why I decided to choose my path according to what he left me in the end. Rin, the Holy Grail will appear eventually. It is our duty as a Tosaka family to win it. More importantly, if you want to be a magus, you can't avoid it. In the end, he left me those words as a magus and not as a father. That is why, at the moment, my path was determined. Alright, I'll do my best to be a proper magus. It's only natural for a student to follow the words of their teacher. Since then, through many twists and turns, I, Tosaka Rin, have matured. It has been 10 years since the winter day on which my father went to war. I haven't exactly been waiting for this moment, but I am excited. That's only natural. The event I have never forgotten about is about to start. Something is ringing. Bring, bring. Shut up, shut up. Sound doesn't stop. It rings loudly as if I'm an enemy. What? Come on, I was up late. It should let me sleep a bit longer. No, it has to let me sleep in. I was deciphering my father's will until early this morning, and I've used up too much medical energy. In other words, my mind and body are dead tired. Ah, geez, you're really stubborn. Bring, bring. The alarm clock doesn't speak my language. So why does the ringing sound like it's telling me, you're going to be late? Late? Being late is bad. So that depends on the situation. I'm a good student, but maybe I can get to school at the last moment just for today. That's right, I set the alarm 30 minutes early, so I should be able to sleep for 30 more minutes. Huh? Isn't that strange? Set it 30 minutes early. I look at the alarm clock drowsily. The clock is pointing exactly at 7. I usually get up at 6:30, so the spare 30 minutes have already been used up. Oh, why can't I think when I wake up? I stare at the alarm clock for several seconds. Shutting it off, I decide to go out of bed. Passing through the cold hallway, I enter the cold living room. It's 7 o'clock on the last day of January. Fuyuki City is usually pretty warm in the winter, but this morning it's as cold as any other city. I can even see my breath indoors, and on top of that, there's no one else in the house to warm it up. Heater, heater. Turning on the heater, I head to the bathroom. At times like this, living on your own is inconvenient. If there were someone to wake up for me, the living room would be warm by now. Yeah, I feel that. I get up fairly early, so... I wash my face at the sink. I brush my long hair and get ready. It's a cold morning and cold sink. The only advantage is that the cold water clears your sleepiness completely. I tie my ribbon and I'm all ready. All I have to do is eat breakfast and head out. Looking at the clock, it's only a bit past 7, and I'm a bit disappointed. Man, I guess I don't have to run after all. And again, I would never do anything as clumsy as running to school anyway. It is the custom of the Tosaka family to act with composure and elegance at all times. Taking a custom like that seriously must mean that my family originated from a very high-class background indeed. Owning this old Western-styled mansion is proof of that, and on top of it, the Tosaka family is a bloodline of sorcerers able to use the power of magic. If you're talking about age, our family has an ancient history. Well, it's not something I can brag about. I can't speak openly about it at all. Oh, by the way, I, Tosaka Rin, am a magus. Who on earth can I brag to like that? Magic is just what it sounds like, magic. I don't care if you get ideas like abracadabra or whatever. You can just think of us as people who do strange things by casting spells. Though it's not like we fly around on brooms or make stars appear with a wave of a wand. Well, we could do that, but we don't bother as it's kind of meaningless. We're basically heretics who hide ourselves from the world. We're prohibited from standing out, and even if we weren't, we would rather be at home studying magic. On top of that, the word sorcerer is completely inaccurate. To be precise, there are only 5 sorcerers in the world. Things no one can do, things beyond the ability of modern science. The ones who can make such miracles are the ones we call sorcerers. Miracles that can never be achieved, regardless of time or effort. Those we call sorcery. Those things that are mysterious but achievable with time and effort. Those we call magic. That's why what I do is called magic rather than sorcery. It's complicated, but that's how it is, so just accept it. To be honest, the modern world doesn't recognize the existence of magi. As we believe, control and learn things that are measurable, our existence is incompatible with the modern world, because it's kind of meaningless. Going to a normal school and becoming a normal adult will bring you far more happiness than studying magic. Human technology is great. In the past few hundred years, it has been leading the way ahead of magic. Nothing is impossible for humans. The miracles once only possible through magic are now tools and not miraculous at all. Still, magic has its good points. Just as there are things possibly only through science, there are also things possible through magic. It was the master of the Tosaka family who said that if science is moving toward the future, magic is moving toward the past. Interesting perspective on magic, that is. Think about the past and the future end up at the same place. Everything always running toward the 0 point. Let's put off all the difficult discussions. They should wait until we're old. Finishing breakfast, I grab my bag. Oh yeah, I should bring the pendant. I don't really want to take the thing to school, but it'd be a waste to just leave it here. This thing is 100 years old after all. By far the greatest jewel in the house. No, that's an understatement. It's much stronger than that. I found this after decoding Father's will last night. It contains the equivalent of 10 years of magical energy. Of my magical energy, wow. There was said to be an heirloom, and this might well be it. We, the Magi of Tosaka, are skilled at the transformation of power. We put our magical energy into jewels whenever we have free time. Put simply, the jewels are bullets, and we are the gun. The only thing I can say I received from my father is the magic crest of the Tosaka family engraved on my left arm. In essence, this is the proof of the successor, and it's like a tattoo that condenses all the inherited magic of the Tosaka family. It hasn't started yet, but I guess it doesn't hurt to be careful. I put the pendant, which can now be said to be my father's memento, in my pocket. There we go. This is the last resort. Pretty much anything is possible with the magical energy contained in this. It's 7:30. I should get going or I'll be late for school. Whatever that says. German. I weave my words with magical energy quickly. Being a magus, I can't let my guard down when leaving my house. Even though there's never been a single robber, wandering child, nor a stray cat. And I don't think my neighbor has ever come to say hello either. Hey, Isaac. 10,000. I'm pretty sure there's only like 1,000 left, but thanks for all the donations. I appreciate it. Looks like we'll play some I Forgot at some point. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. And I don't think my neighbor has ever come to say hello either. Well, I don't really care, but not even a stray cat? What's up with that? I look up at the mansion I've grown to so accustomed to over the years. Fuyuki is certainly a strange city with many Western-styled houses on this side of town and an area full of Japanese-styled houses just beyond the intersection. I guess it's because of many foreign families came to live here long ago. But even so, I don't see many foreigners around here now. There's a foreigner cemetery in the new city across the river, but it only has the graves of the first generation of families. Maybe the soil of Japan didn't suit them. I'll go to the church and ask the priest sometime. He knows about lots of boring things. Huh? Stepping outside, I feel a certain incongruity. A big word. What's up? It's quieter than usual. Especially quiet with no sense of morning's noisiness. At 7:30, the street should be filled with students going to school and people going to work. Well, I guess there are days like this. Perhaps everyone slept in today. It's unusually cold, so I bet everyone's still wrapped up in their warm beds. But even so, it's strange that I haven't even seen one student so far. At 7:30, you can usually see people in uniform here and there, but I'm the only person at the school gates, and it looks like the clubs are just starting their morning practice. In other words, the only explanation is... Sakai, you're up early today. As I suspected. With a small sigh, I turned to the girl who addressed me. Morning. It really is a cold day, huh? This girl speaking so frankly is Mitsuzuri Ayako. She's my classmate in Class 2A, and there are a lot of stories about her. Good morning, Mitsuzuri-san. Please excuse the abrupt question, but do you know what time it is? Huh? It's almost 7. Are you still asleep? She got up early. She waves her hand in front of me, wondering if I'm alright. She is one of the few friends who knows I am not a morning person. In other words, she thinks I'm not fully awake yet. It's the clock at my house for an hour past. All of them. Not just my alarm clock, but the wall clocks as well? Really? Just what's going on here? Did Father arrange for all the clocks to go mad when the pendant was removed from the basement? Osaka. Don't worry, it's nothing. Anyways, are you off to morning practice as usual? Yeah, the archery club has lots of problem students, and one good member quit. So I have to get them to look good to attract the new freshmen in April. I see. There's always something to worry about, isn't there? You can say that since it's none of your concern. Oh, do you want to come? The guys will love it if you come and watch. Archery club, huh? I have 3 acquaintances in the archery club. One is Ayako, the person before me right now, and the other 2 are people I barely talk to. And for one of those 2, the word acquaintance doesn't really suffice. I became friends with Ayako because I had been watching the archery club from afar. Alright, I'll go if all I have to do is watch. I have nothing else to do this early anyways. Hey, let's go now then. The impressive archery range is one of our school's outstanding aspects. Perhaps the director is just interested in archery, but the range is much too fancy for a mere school club. Come on, there's still time before practice, so let's go in and have some tea. Happy about something, Ayako drags me in by the hand. Bad habit of hers. She talks like a guy when she's expressing her true feelings. As Ayako said, there's no one in here. While sipping hot tea, we prepared for today's class. The tea tastes really good in this open winter environment. Well, I'll come straight to the point. How's it going, Tasaka? Have you found a reliable partner yet? Oh, as there's no one else around, Ayaka comes straight out and asks me a ridiculous question. Huh? That's a really direct way of asking. Judging from your tone of voice, you've already found yours? No comment. I'm going to keep it a secret until you tell me. So what's going on? Looking at your tired face, I feel like I'm right. Another comment. But you'd probably see through my lies. Unfortunately, not yet on my part. How about you? I assume you don't have time to take it easy either. True, but things aren't looking good for me. I could get one right away, but it's not that kind of matter, you know? Our future depends on this, so I can't compromise. I see. So you don't want to choose hastily and lose to me? Of course not. The important part is making you lose. What I get comes second. She laughs boldly. Jeez, we really are alike. Yeah, when we first met, I warned you we'd have this kind of relationship. Yes, she did indeed. I was certainly surprised when at our first meeting, she said, we'll probably end up with a kill or be killed relationship. Or in other words, unless we go all out against each other, we'll never really be friends. I agreed with her on that, and that's why we've had a friend or foe relationship for 2 years. By the way, why are we talking about this? Why? You're the one who started it, Tasaka. You said there's something wrong with a woman never having a boyfriend. We decided to see which of us could get a boyfriend before the 3rd year. Oh yeah. Oh, just tit for tat, I suppose. And did we say the loser would obey the winner for a day? Right, even kids don't make promises like that nowadays. It's not like we're sore losers. Whatever the result, the loser will obediently follow the winner's orders. Just thinking about it gets me excited, Ayako laughs. Honestly, she's so serious about this. Mitsuzuri Ayako is such a difficult person to deal with. Though I can't wait to beat Ayako either. So neither of us are people you want to deal with. That's the thing about visual novels, is they're great with storytelling and getting you like emotionally invested in the characters and what's going on the screen with the music and the animations and the character voices and the sprites. They get you so emotionally invested into in the moment. And then sometimes they're like this, where you're reading a literal action visual novel, and you get these moments of just complete banter, complete and utter meaningless banter. The dynamic is pretty hilarious. Sometimes the meaningless banter gets to me a little bit. Like, there'll be times where I just fast forward through a lot of the text because, you know, all we're doing is talking about an archery club. That's it. But, you know, it's the media. It's similar in books a lot of the times, where they'll just go off on tirades about the forest, the nearby forest, and explain in super nitty-gritty detail about the forest, and then they just suck you out of it, and then all of a sudden somebody gets murdered or something. It's just the dynamics of storytelling. You get these boring parts, and then, hey, Tony! Get these boring parts, and then all of a sudden you get a crab rave, and then, you know, everybody dances around inside of the story. It's usually how it goes. Thanks for the crab rave. I was just talking about meaningless banter, and then a crab rave comes in. I see. But, Mitsuzuri-san, it's fine to enjoy yourself, but you should take care not to get your objectives wrong. You know that's not the only point of the contest, don't you? I know. I can't call it a complete victory unless I beat you with a relationship you would really be jealous of. What a weird friendship. Well, that's the biggest problem for us. No matter how good a guy it is, there's no point if we can't bring ourselves to love him. Ayako sighs heavily. To my knowledge, Mitsuzuri Ayako is said to hate men. Rumors are never to be trusted, however. As she suggested this match, rather than hating men, I think she just didn't have a chance. But that aside. Hold it, what do you mean by us? I'll say it right now, but I'm not I'm not cold-hearted like you. I'd have no problem loving a guy. Oh, that's a lie. Or you're fooling yourself. There's no way you'd ever be concerned about a guy. You've never given one good response to any of the confessions he made to you. If you had even the slightest interest, you'd think of going out with them. But you keep declining, so it must mean you're not interested in men. You're not thinking enough. Couldn't we say I'm declining because I already have someone I like? Well, wow, that's a good answer. I like it. I like that. It's romantic. Ayako nods seriously, not making fun of me. Her sigh says, "Wouldn't it be nice if that was the case? Geez, I really can't keep anything from her." "You're right. I think so too. Well, it's exactly as she says. I know myself how cold I am. I admit it. I know nothing when it comes to love and relationships." "Exactly. You're the one who said we're alike." "Oh, it's almost 7. Let's leave the secret talk here. There. You never know when someone might walk in on us, and we should act like proper students." "Well, I never knew you had social manners like that. It was worth getting up early just to hear that." "Not so much as you. My social manners are nothing compared to yours. You hide yourself so much it almost seems like you're a different person." Ayako gives an exaggerated sigh. Both of the teas she made are now empty, and it's my turn to make it. "So, why don't you join the club, Tosaka? I won't listen to any lies about not having the athletic ability. I'm still bitter that I lost to you in all aspects in last year's physical testing." "Oh, but you beat me in lung capacity and also in weight." "Oh, damn! With the fat jokes." "Alright, I'm 3 kilograms heavier than you." "Hey, being heavier isn't something to be happy about, you fox." Ayako slams the table. "Be careful, you might spill the tea, Mitsuzuri-san. You're the captain, so you should treat this place with care." "Shut up. I'm your rival first and captain of this place second." "Naturally, if there are no members around, I'll go after you." Ayako looks at me with narrowed eyes. This girl has her own sense of beauty, and she always says beautiful people have to do some kind of martial arts. She's a bold person experienced in most martial arts. She joined the archery club with no experience and is now the captain as if it were only natural. She's probably one of the top 3 people in the school you should never disobey, regardless of gender. Isn't it a problem to claim you're not the captain if there are no members around? Of course not. I'm the captain in name only. So all I can do is keep an eye on the problem members. There are people better than me, so it's not very dignified captaincy. Really? But Fujimura-sensei says that your skills are outstanding. Well, if she says so, that gives me some confidence. Yeah, I guess it's no good to think about people who don't come here anymore. Yeah, Fujimura-sensei said that. If Fujimura-sensei said that, I guess I should take being captain more seriously. Hey, Nikad. That's right, speaking of which, it's almost time for the club members to arrive, right? I'll get going, but you stay and be a good captain. What, you're not going to stay and watch? I wouldn't understand. Watching from a distance is fine, but outsiders shouldn't be in the range, should they? Just as I rise, someone enters the range. Good morning, Captain. One of our main characters, it's Sakura. Well, we're in the point of view of another main character, Tosaka Rin, but Sakura is another main character. This is the Fate Stay Night series. This is the Fate Stay Night visual novel, the game that started the entire thing, the entire saga. I think it's hilarious that the dynamic of a visual novel like this, where we start off. Yeah, this was the origin of all Fate stuff. We start off with this hilariously mundane conversation about archery and magic users and just kids going through school and high school and talking about graduation and boyfriends, and then it somehow goes into these split universes, and it has this legendary history and legendary future and world-ending themes, and everybody's wanting to kill each other, and everybody dies, and everybody gets resurrected. You know, it's just like there's so much crazy shit that ends up in the Fate universe, and we started here with the dynamic of mundane high school. Yeah, normal high school, mundane archery discussion and then world-ending themes. It's typical Japanese high school themes. Yes. This is the beginning and this is the start of all Fate stuff. It's the Monday night, honestly. Yeah, and I'm putting my own commentary on top of it here and there like this, just because I like talking about it and explaining how it is and how it all started and everything. And I talked about my story at the beginning. Basically, I was a beta tester for the English translation of this visual novel back in like 2008. I'm trying to hang out with you on a Monday. Yeah, this is the beginning of Fate stuff. This is the beginning of Fate Zero. It's the beginning of the Fate Unlimited Blade Works, beginning of Fate Grand Order. This is where it all started. I think it was just a simple visual novel that started it all. They just threw together a visual novel, and then all of a sudden it became somewhat of a cult classic. It got popular once the English, of course, in the international market, once the English translation came out. It exploded in popularity, and I think the original creator really took advantage of it pretty well. He saw the popularity and it's like, oh, we gotta go get those guys, gotta go get that market. And then he just made anime and a mobile game, and the mobile game exploded in popularity. And it's the mobile game to this day. It released in like 2012. The mobile game to this day is still #1 on the mobile game charts. Here and there. It's not constantly #1 on the mobile game charts, but like last week a Servant released and it was #1 on the mobile game charts, which is bonkers for a 10-year-old game. Or nearly 10 anyway. Yes, this classic. Crazy where we came from, looking back on our history of Fate. Good morning, Captain. Morning, Mato. You're alone this morning. Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't be of help. It's okay. If he doesn't want to come, there's no point forcing him to. Ayako addresses the club member who just entered. Well, I'll be going. See you later, Mitsuzuri-san. Yeah, see you later, Tosaka. Thank you for coming, Tosaka-senpai. Thanks, you take care too, Sakura. I leave the range, trying not to interrupt them. Tosaka, good morning. I'm lucky to see you so early. Bad luck, I run into someone I don't want to see. Good morning, Mato. You're early today. She's so mature, just acting like that to a person she fucking hates. Of course, as the captain, I have come early as an example to others. This smiling guy is Mato Shinji of Class 2C. He's the vice captain of the archery club and owner of the hearts of half the girls in this school. Kind of an idle, good-looking, good grades, sociable, and kind to girls. I'm not too well informed in such areas, so I've only heard all this from my classmates. Really? I'm sorry to interrupt your good mood, but you're missing a word, Mato-kun. It's an important word, so I don't think you should forget it. What do you mean missing a word? You're missing the vice part, the vice captain. You should watch out. It makes no difference whether you're the captain or the vice captain, but if you put a lot of weight on it, people might think you're concerned about it, right? You're right, I'll be careful from now on. Thank you, Tosaka. I've done nothing to earn your thanks, but I guess it doesn't matter if you think otherwise. Bidding him goodbye, I leave the range. Hold on, you came to watch, right? Then you should stay and watch. You're very welcome here. I'd rather not. I don't want to interrupt the practice. Don't worry about that. If anyone's bothering you, I'll just kick them out, so come in for a while. I'm saying I don't want to be a bother. Besides, it's not like I'm interested in archery. I don't like watching people I don't know practicing. What? You didn't have any interest in archery? Oh, so that's why you were watching us after school. I don't know what he thinks the reason was, but he's undoubtedly making a big misunderstanding. Oh, so you knew, Mato-kun? Yeah, our eyes met many times, yours and mine. After I shot, you would always be looking at me, right? I wanted to call out to you, but it's the rules, you know? We can't raise our voice on the range. As if happy about something, Shinji moves closer to me. His smile carries a sense of superiority. I guess I misunderstood. I thought you liked archery, but you actually have no interest in it, right? But why were you watching the range? Oh, I see now. Yes, the conversation could certainly have been taken that way. Can you move away, Mato-kun? I really don't like the people coming so close to me. Yeah, Dick, get out of here. Tosaka, what? Honestly, it seems like you still don't understand. It's not my style, but I'll put it in terms even you can understand. Mato-kun, I'm saying that I have even less interest in you than archery. Damn! Oh shit! Frankly, I never even knew you were in the range, and I'm not about to start looking out for you now either. What? As if I've angered him, he reaches out for me violently. I easily avoid it and turn my back to him. Goodbye, Mato-kun. It's good to have some ego, but you shouldn't let it grow too large. He sounds like he wants to say more, but it doesn't seem like he's going to scream or come after me. Jeez, he really is all show. If he was just a little bit more mature, he wouldn't be so much trouble for people around him. From the back of the school where the archery range is based, I enter the school building. It's past 7, but I can't see anyone in the hallway. Oh, Tosaka-san. Good morning, Fujimura-sensei. Yes, good morning, Tosaka-san. I'm so happy you greeted me properly. The strange woman seems to be crying of happiness. It's hard to believe, but this person of surpassing friendliness and cheerfulness is a teacher at the school. Sensei, is there a way to greet you improperly? Of course there is. First years always greet me properly, but the older ones never greet me by my last name. You shouldn't copy their rudeness, okay? I don't really understand, but I won't be rude to you, Sensei. Good girl. Oh, I wish everyone was as good as you, Tosaka-san. Fujimura-sensei waves goodbye and leaves. Fortunately, she isn't my homeroom teacher. Fujimura-sensei teaches English. She has such a kind face, but she also has a black belt in kendo, and I hear she was respected as the Tiger of Fuyuki in her student days. Oh, that's a bit strange. Wouldn't a tiger normally be feared, not respected? Apparently in a good mood, Fujimura-sensei heads for the archery range. For some reason, she's in charge of archery club and not kendo club. It's almost 7:30. I can see a few students doing club activities outside, but there's no sign of anyone in the school building, but still. Osaka. I bump into someone who greets me rudely. Oh, student president, are you patrolling the school building this early in the morning? Or perhaps taking care of the club rooms? Not that I care, but you're certainly diligent. Huh? What are you planning? What are you doing here? You're not in any clubs. I just felt like it. I don't get up early like your family does, Ryudo-kun. Student president makes an unhappy face. For some reason, I seem to be his enemy. I really don't know why. Perhaps it's just because I said skip the temples, they're boring, in a meeting to plan for the field trip. Tony says, I'm very new to this whole visual novel genre. What would you say are the most popular ones out there? 1 second. I don't have a lot of experience in modern visual novels. I stopped playing them after a while just because a lot of them take up like 30, 40, 50, 60 hours of your time. They're absolutely wonderful experiences, and I'll always recommend the ones I've played. But unfortunately, I kind of died off in the genre just because it takes so much time to read them and go through them. I hear a lot of good ones. in modern day, I can't name them off the top of my head. It's like, we could just Google it, right? Best visual novel. Yeah. I was just never into them because, yeah, it's a lot of reading for sure. But it's a lot of them are worth reading, worth actually experiencing. And some actually have game mechanics in it, like Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is a visual novel, but it has a lot of video game mechanics in it. So it's probably a good combination of game and visual novel story. Probably one of the best out there in accordance with that. The other, I don't know if it's in this list, but the other one will be Persona as well. Persona 3, 4, and 5 all have great combination of video game to visual novel mechanics. Never been super into them either, not because of reading, but I wanted more action. Yeah. I mean, it's just like any action book, really. There's a lot of action in a lot of visual novels. It's just, you gotta get through the slog of the mundane archery discussion. Yeah, Ace Attorney is a good one. I don't know anything about Danganronpa. I didn't even know it was a visual novel, or I don't know anything about it. I don't know why it's on this list, but it's there. All right. Well, Hatoful Boyfriend is more of a meme than anything else, but it's hilarious and provides a lot of comedy, and the dynamics of dating pigeons is absolutely hilarious. So it's probably worth a play as a casual play if you want sometime. I played Persona in the recent years and I didn't know they were considered visual. That makes sense. Yeah. Persona has visual mechanics in it. The dating aspects, or social aspects, I don't think they call it dating or romance, but the social aspects in that game, it's absolutely a visual novel mechanic. And then the story as a whole, Persona 3 was very heavily inspired by visual novels, so they just took that and ran with it. And now it's just a, story-based JRPG at this point. Catherine as well, which I know is by them too. Yeah. Yep. I don't know what the letter is. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. I don't know what these are. Monster Prom, I hear a lot of good things about Monster Prom. I hear that's a very, very, very good one to play. Clannad is one of those. It's more drama and romance, but damn if it doesn't do a great job at drama and romance. And each visual novel has its own genre, just like, I guess, just like a book or whatever. It's going to focus on one genre. Fate Stay Night is action, but of course, in between the action, you're talking about kids at school. Clannad is kind of just people going through their lives, but they do a very good job at getting you into their world and their story. Coffee Talk, which is more reading than I've done in a video. Yeah, Coffee Talk is a visual novel for sure. Creating more stories, I don't know what that is. This list is weird. Yeah, that's what I mean, is like, I fell off of visual novels, so I don't know what the good ones are these days, but I know the ones that I liked, and the ones I liked were great and awesome. Valhalla is another good one if you're into Coffee Talk. You make drinks. You're a bartender and you make drinks for people, and they come in and chat and talk with you. So if you like Coffee Talk, or if you're enjoying Coffee Talk, you should probably play Valhalla as well. It's considered a visual novel. Doki Doki Literature Club is a classic. It's a great visual novel. I would recommend not looking up any spoilers about it if you plan on playing it. Because it's one of those where you could easily spoil yourself on some of the most interesting and crazy twists in a visual novel ever. Doki Doki is great. Basically just schoolgirls going through school and like talking about their lives and stuff, but you can't really talk much about it without spoiling it. It's good and entertaining, and it's free. But Doki Doki is a good one. Higurashi is crazy. Higurashi, I haven't read Higurashi, but I watched the anime, and the anime is good. But I have the creator, the person who created this, Higurashi, also created another visual novel. I don't know if it's it's right here. Also created another visual called Umi Neko. And Umi Neko is absolutely amazing. And it's one of the best experiences in a visual novel you can ever have. It doesn't have any choice mechanic, so it's just linear storytelling. But if you go into it expecting just to read a story, and if you feel like reading a story at some point, just to read, visual novel and experience it, Umi Neko is one of the best experiences you can have with a visual novel. The music is amazing. The character art is, the original character art is kind of bad, but the new character art is very good. The storytelling is top notch, top tier, and amazing. I don't know anything about this one. Chaos Child, I wouldn't put this in a list anywhere near top visual novels of all time. Chaos Child is fucking weird, and it's by the guys who did or Steins Gate. Notice the semicolon? By the Steins Gate guys. So, I mean, if you liked Steins Gate, you'll probably like Chaos Child. But it was really fucking weird. And the other mechanic of visual novels is the route mechanic. Each visual novel, most of the time, visual novels will have different routes. Most of the time for girls, Chaos Child probably has a route for each of these girls. I don't remember. It was a long time since I played. But yeah. So basically, and it's kind of a hidden feature. You kind of gotta use your intuition most of the time, unless you want to follow a guide. And you can see, I'll show you. The other mechanic of visual novels is bad ends as well. So if you go down a certain route and make too many bad choices, you will end up in a bad end. And that's funny. Character sheet. Hydrate. Let's see. Route guide? Route. What was that one? Damn it. Visual novel. Little Clannad route map. Yeah. So this is the mechanic of visual novels. You can see, and it doesn't do any spoilers. You don't notice any spoilers here, but yeah, exactly. You can see Clannad basically. Oh, this is Karawa Shoujo. This is exactly what I was looking for, actually. That's funny. I ended up finding Karawa Shoujo while I was searching Clannad. But this game called Karawa Shoujo. It's a great visual novel. Some might be uncomfortable with it, which is fine. It involves going to a school of basically disabled kids in various ways. One girl is blind. Another girl is like missing her legs. And I personally think they do a good job at, just making them feel like regular kids. They don't emphasize on they don't really hammer down or make jokes or make light of the disabilities. Hey, Pink. Hope all is well. And hi there, Tony. Hi. Yep, I'm doing great. Just talking about visual novels. I can talk about visual novels all day. Yeah, so anyway, this visual novel is, you can see this one line down here is all the choices you can make. And then you can see down here, as we go down towards the bottom, it splinters off into different endings. And then that's basically how a visual novel works most of the time if you get multiple choices. And a lot of these will be bad ends. Well, I don't think Karawa Shoujo has a bad. I think Karawa Shoujo has like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 bad ends, but a lot of visual novels like Fate Stay Night, for example, will have a lot of bad ends because you'll get to the point where you made a wrong choice at some point and then you die, basically game over, and you have to start over. Now you don't necessarily have to start over completely because they give like hundreds of save slots and they want you to save as much as you can based on choices. As for like modern visual novels, how many endings are there in Karawa Shoujo or Fate Stay Night? Depends on what you're asking. Fate Stay Night has 3 routes, so it has 3 of these guys, but it has like 100 bad ends, I think. How many endings in Fate Stay Night? And people will say, people will say that the bad ends aren't necessarily. You don't need to do the bad ends, but some people really live and die by getting to the bad ends as well, because you do get experiences inside of the bad ends that are separate and different from the main story. Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's like 20 or 30 bad ends or something per route, I think. You know, there's 3 routes. But yeah. Let's see if I can find the Fate Stay Night route map. Yeah, dude, visual novels get crazy. They're not joking around, man. They get deep. Not every visual novel has a map like this. I can just use this website. Hold on. This website itself has a map. Yeah, so I don't know. Can't really tell if these are endings or bad ends or good ends or what, but yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can see how many choices you make in just Route 1 here. This is how many choices you make and how many different routes you can take. You know, this is the tree for Fate Stay Night Route 1, which is Fate Route. What was I gonna say? For modern visual novels, if you wanna experience a visual novel, but you prefer like modern gameplay type of stuff, I always forget the name of it. What the fuck? 3D adventure game with AI robots. Detroit Become Human. I always forget the name. I don't know why. Detroit Become Human, the name just doesn't stick in my brain for some reason. But Detroit Become Human is an absolutely 100% flawless take on a modern visual novel. And I will always recommend it to anyone out there. I love Detroit Become Human. And it's definitely a visual novel. Like, I won't even take any arguments. It's absolutely a visual novel. You know, it kind of took off from the Walking Dead style gameplay where it's mostly quick time events and that type of stuff, and you walk around and you just do quick time events to like pick up a knife or whatever. But they took it to a level that I thought was very, very good. And it is a great experience for anyone who's interested both in visual novels but also enjoys modern gameplay, more modern gameplay and graphics and, you know, all that type of thing. They're not gonna show the full route map. It's probably too big to put on one. These are only branches. This is just one branch. You can see this is the hostage chapter. This is one chapter. And in one chapter, you do this many choices. You can see this is chapter the hostage, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 endings in this chapter. And that's only one chapter. There's like 30 or something chapters, and I think this game has like 100 and something possible endings. Oh yeah, this game is crazy in depth, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, you can just play these games. You can play visual novels. You can play Detroit Become Human once through, get one ending, and you can be completely satisfied with yourself. You can be completely fulfilled. You don't necessarily need to continue on to the next routes or anything like that. So yeah. Anyways, I was originally asked which visual novels I suggest. I think I've covered some already, you know, Umineko. Of course, I'll always recommend Fate Stay Night. There's Steins Gate. Steins Gate is a visual novel. If you watch the anime, the visual novel is probably worth reading. They even have an anime version of the visual novel out, which is pretty fucking cool. Or they put that much effort into giving the players that much content. Yeah, it's awesome. Just Clanadigan. House of Fata Morgana. I own it and I plan on playing it because I've only ever heard great things about it. I don't know. I know basically nothing about the game other than the only thing I've heard from people is, dude, you gotta play this game. That's it. That's what I've heard over the years. And so I bought it and I will experience it. So I'm sure I will be one of those as well at some point, saying you just gotta go play it. All right, so we haven't even talked about my favorite visual novel of all time, and it's not on these lists, and I know why. Because it's not super popular. My favorite visual novel of all time, I'll never read a better visual novel than this in my life, like hands down, is called Ever 17 Out of Infinity. This visual novel hit me emotionally in ways that I can never explain to anybody. And honestly, it's hit me in ways that I'll never experience again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, this visual novel. And it's amazing. I love it so much. It's near and dear to my heart, and I'll always put it up there. I think I even had it on my list of top 3 games that emotionally struck you or whatever. I had Ever 17 as number 1. It's definitely one of those visual novels where you do. I know I just said you can play visual novels one route and quit, but unfortunately, this is one of those where you have to play every single route. There's like 5 or 6 routes, and you have to play every single route to experience the full game. And once you experience the full game and get the full story, it really just leaves you in a mood where, you know, if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever experienced those times where you finish something, an anime or a movie or a TV show, and you just sit there and you stare at the wall forever, and you're just like, man, that was fucking good. That was good. That was so good. I don't even know what to think about. It was amazing. Ever 17 is one of those things. You know, Breaking Bad, for example, can leave you in that in some aspects. Some movies out there, you know, emotional movies and things like that. They can just leave you awestruck for a while, and Ever 17 is easily one of those that can just leave you awestruck for what it is. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of good story. The characters are great. I think the writing's awesome. The music is awesome. Overall, just a great, absolutely great time Ever 17 out of infinity. I'll always recommend it to people. Came out in 98-ish? 2002. Came out in 2002, so it's a little rough around the edges, but, you know, it's worth experiencing, in my opinion. They really need they need a HD version of this. The other visual novel I always recommend, and it's a shorter one, and Tony, I don't know if you're still in chat, but this one is probably, it's short. The biggest benefit of it is it's short. Well, it's also a very, very good story, of course, but you know, this visual novel is one of the first ones I ever read, and it's just a cute, loving story about a little town where crazy things happen, and they have to go around the town and figure out these things that are going on. The basics of the story is these people get like amnesia, and then they come to the town. It's called True Remembrance. And it's free. The creator actually made it free. Yeah, so here it is. This is the official website. You can just go here and download it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Isaac, you and me have a lot of connections with this stuff. I've gone back and read this visual novel multiple times over the years. It's one of those just like great stories overall. It's like 6 hours long max, I think, and it's about a little tiny little town where people go to get cured of it's like an amnesia illness or something like that. I don't remember the synopsis exactly, but it's an ordinary tale of ordinary days spent in an ordinary town. An ordinary girl who learns that everything in this world is extraordinary, or that nothing is. For in this world there is a young man called Black Iris, a Nemonicide par excellence, and there is a young girl named Law, sweet and warm and gentle in all the ways that count. This is their story. Yeah, it's just a cute, loving story, and it's really short. It's like 6 hours long, 5-6 hours long. If you read fast, it's probably like 4 hours long. I read hella slow, which is another issue I have with visual novels myself, and I've slowly grown out of them just because I read way too slow. But you know, it'd be nice if they offered like a Audible style service for visual novels. I would love that. I would listen to visual novels all day, every day. I'd listen to fucking Umi and Eiko probably multiple times. And I know I can probably go into like YouTube and find people who actually read aloud and play it too, but yeah, so you can just go to Git, and then they offer the downloads here. This is the original creator. The original creator made this website and offers it for free. This one doesn't have any branches. It's just short and cool. But yeah, those are the visual novels that I would recommend. Like I said, old. This is 2008. But you know, I got some modern ones in there, you know. House of Fata Morgana, I recommend. Eighth Attorney just got a re-release on the Switch, I believe. Or a re-release in a big old grand collection, so that's technically modern still. And then, yeah. So anyway, back to Fate for a little bit. The student president makes an unhappy face. For some reason, I seem to be his enemy. Really don't know why. Perhaps it's just because I said skip the temples, they're boring, in a meeting to plan for the field trip. Let me ask you a question, Tosaka. Have you been staying at school till late at night recently? Nope. You should know I always go straight home. Of course course. This is my job, so naturally I know about everyone. I see. So you don't even have to ask, right? I don't know why you're asking, but isn't it bad to force student council jobs onto outsiders? You should collect information on your own. Don't rely on outsiders like me. Idiot. How are you an outsider? Don't think I don't know how you worked your evil deeds on our treasurer, you fox. Oh, you misunderstand. I was merely working out how much each club should receive because Mitsuru-san asked me to. I think it's only right for students to take an interest in where their money is going. How can damaging our treasurer's psyche enough to keep him off school for a week be only right for any student? As always, I'm amazed by your way of thinking. Same to you, you should keep a watch on those under you. It's not fair to favor the non-sporting clubs. I know that. That's why I had intended to deal with the matter myself. Oh, we saw Shiro right there for a second. The repairs are done, and then a guy appears who I didn't expect to find here. Ah, sorry, Amiya. I'm the one who asked for help, but it seems like you're doing all the work. Forgive me. Don't worry about it. So, where next? There's not much time left. Yeah, the AV room is next. It seems it's been working badly for a while, but it finally died. It can't be fixed if it's dead. It would be quicker to just buy a new one. True, but it'd help if you could take a look at it. It might be dead to my eyes, but only faking it to yours. I see. Well, let's take a look. The student president leaves with the male student. My thoughts have stopped at this sudden event. The guy with wrenches and spanners in hand turns back as if I'm remembering something. There he is, the other main character. We have 3 main characters in this game. Tosaka Rin, who we're currently in the eyeballs of. Sakura Mato, who we saw earlier. She's the purple-haired girl. And Emiya Shiro. It's this guy right here. You're up early, Tosaka. And with that, he leaves. That's supposed to be a greeting? The student whom the president called Emiya leaves quickly. Emiya, that would be Emiya Shiro from Class 2C. The funny thing about this visual novel, again, I'm looping back onto my discussion about the dynamics of talking about mundane school life and having world-ending themes. We're in the perspective of Tosaka Rin right now, but we switch over to Shiro for the rest of the visual novel. So this is just kind of a random introduction to all the main characters. And then once the action starts, once basically Saber gets here, Saber Shiro's servant, once Saber gets here, the action kind of just goes off and starts there. There's a couple big mundane parts after that, but overall I think mostly Fate Route and Unlimited Blade Works especially is action oriented. That's fine, but how can I put it? I just think it's hard to tell whether a guy who looks at home holding a wrench is useful or scary. It's 7:30 in the morning and there's no one in Class 2A. Well, I guess I'll study ahead. I sit at my desk and work on a few math problems. There's 30 minutes until homeroom. I guess I'll just be bored until my classmates arrive. 4th period ends and the noisy lunch break begins. Our school has a cafeteria, but half the students stay in the classroom. Actually, most of the ones who stay are girls. The cafeteria food is rather roughly made, so girls tend to dislike it, and as a result... Tosaka? Would you have lunch with us? Girls end up eating lunch together like this. Thank you, Saigusa-san, but I'm afraid I'm eating at the cafeteria today. I slept in this morning and didn't have time to make a lunch. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to invite you without realizing that. I guess I'm being a bother. Saigusa-san looks downcast, as if apologizing. He's one of the calmest in the class full of calm students, and a kind person who cares about me for some reason. I don't think so. It just happened that way today, so don't worry about it. Please ask me again tomorrow. I smile at her from the bottom of my heart. Oh yes, I guess even you sleep from time to time. My smile must have relaxed her as she returns it with her own. Her smile is cute. Yukika-san isn't the most beautiful person, but her smile warms the hearts of everyone around her. Damn, Tosaka! She's kinda ugly, but she warms the heart. Yeah, that's right. I try not to let it show, but I actually sleep in quite often. I'm not in any clubs because I can't get up in the mornings. Agasa-san's expression reveals her surprise. Presence really relaxes me, but I can't just have fun talking. If I keep talking to people like this, I'm bound to reveal my true self. Well, I'm off to the cafeteria. Enjoy your lunch, Segusa-san. Yes, you too, Tosaka-san. We exchange a warm goodbye, and she returns to her group of girls. It seems she's eating with Makidera-san and Himuro-san. They're highly Japanese names. Japan, who would have thought? Oh yeah, Segusa-san is the manager of the track team. Makidera and Himuro-san are the track team's hopefuls. Makidera is a friend I sometimes go window shopping with, but I don't know Himuro-san that well. Oh, you were rejected, Yukichi? Didn't I tell you Tosaka wouldn't bring lunch? If you want to eat with her, you'll have to make her lunch too. Maki, can't we just go to the cafeteria too then? No way, there isn't enough room in that place for people who bring their own lunches. And even if we did sit with Tosaka, the men's glares would be annoying as hell. Like last vacation, we went to hang out together, but she's the only one who got any attention. Don't you just hate people who have to show off their beauty like that? Makidera speaks without thinking as the girls surround Segusa-san's desk. In contrast to her nasty mouth, is a Japanese beauty who looks wonderful in a kimono. Makinoji, I think that Tosaka-sama can hear you. In contrast to Makidera's loudness, Himuro is the cool, steady type. Crap. Tosaka, you heard that? She's really glaring at me. I don't think she's glaring at you, really. She is. She's scariest when she's smiling. Come on. Take it easy, Tosaka. It's us we're talking about, right? I bought you taiyaki, remember? She waves her chopsticks, puffing out her cheeks. The knowledge that this girl's hobby is collecting wind chimes just shows that the world is far too complex. Collecting wind chimes. Anyways, it's not good for Segusa-san to keep watching this. She's panicking, seeing Makidera continually talking bad about me. Don't worry, Segusa-san. Makidera-san, I'm the one who paid, and it was crepes, not taiyaki. You should fix that habit of yours of changing the facts you remember, or I might have to consider things next time, okay? Ugh, that smile's really scary. Makidera hides behind the lid of her lunchbox. Saying goodbye to the three of them, I leave the classroom. I shut the door behind me, and then... Man, come on, there's no big difference between crepes and taiyaki. They're both just sweets wrapped up. Makidera's words are ones no girl should ever speak. Taiyaki and crepes? They're way different. Come on now. Taiyaki and crepes the same? Is she really a girl? Are all sweets the same to her? Perhaps she just has very convenient taste buds that can't tell a 500 yen crepe from an 80 yen taiyaki, but why you? I could have said 420 yen if I just bought you taiyaki to begin with. Why am I getting mad about this? I guess I'm still tired from last night. The cafeteria would be too much effort, so I'll just get a drink and some bread and eat on the roof. Buy lunch and head for the empty rooftop. The convenient location as no student would come near it in the wintertime. It's too cold to eat, but that's a small price to pay for being able to eat without worrying about other people. Well, lunch comes first. Start on my tomato sandwich. And I wonder if that's where the Japanese person said, or the Japanese said, itadakimasu. The good old classic itadakimasu translation. All the time. It's always funny seeing what people translate it to in English. I started on my tomato sandwich and hot lemon drink. It's a simple lunch, but the taste is much improved in this peace and quiet. I finished my sandwich and my hot lemon drink. I'm a bit tired. It's a difficult balance, being a good student while trying not to be too social. It's my vanity, no, my conviction, that I must be number one both academically and physically. If I am to be a student, I want to be the best, and it's unthinkable for me to dishonor the Tosaka name. That's why I'm a perfect student, flawless in all aspects, but at the same time, I also have a dangerous job as a magus, so I shouldn't associate with normal people. Normally, any magus whose identity is discovered has no choice but to eliminate the witness. I don't want to do that, so inevitably my social life has become a shallow one. Now this line is interesting. This line that says, any magus whose identity is discovered has no choice but to eliminate the witness. They just completely and utterly forget about this rule and line throughout the entire story. They constantly reveal themselves. At some point, they just forgot that this was a rule that they set in place in this universe. They always talk about it at the beginning. I think they talk about it at the beginning of like Fate Zero and stuff too. But come on, guys. You're not hiding fucking 2 story tall monsters fighting each other, fighting another person, magical person in the streets of the city at night. It's just not, you're not gonna hide that. There's no way you can hide that. Inevitably, my social life has become a shallow one. I only hang out with Makidera on weekends, and I try to refuse invitations from people like Saigusa-san. Even though I'm the best honor student in the school, I live trying not to become too important to anyone. Though sometimes when I'm tired like this, it makes me think that this life is rather boring. But there are witnesses. There's absolutely witnesses. Who's gonna miss fucking giant, monstrous, muscly monster guy walking through the streets? Like, you can't ignore that. It's not something you can ignore. They pass it off with like they're invisible, but I mean, come on. And then you got people like standing on top of the buildings and running around in the streets and throwing daggers at each other. It's like, there's no way you can know that there's no witnesses out there. Absolutely, people are gonna see all this stuff happening. Giant fucking squid or whatever killed my massive giant light beam from Fate Zero. Yeah, exactly. So, like, really? You can't hide that stuff. They pass it. They try to brush it off with like they try to erase people's memory and stuff, but you know, you just can't. You can't. Oh, it's time already? I finished my hot lemon drink and stand up. I should stop drowning in sentimentality and go back to being the usual Tosaka Rin once I go down the stairs. Homeroom is at an end. Those of you on day duty, finish the daily report and check the logs. Those of you without club activities are to go home quickly. Have a good night, Kit. Thanks for stopping by. Just like, good luck fading all the sabers. Thanks a bunch. Hope your fate granddaughter is going well. Valentine's event is going on. Series are to go home quickly. Due's homeroom teacher exits after repeating his usual line. As far as I know, this line hasn't changed all year. Sasaka, you're going home already? Yeah, there was an event with Mato-kun this morning, so I'm heading home before it becomes a bother. I thought so. Mato was in a bad mood this morning, so I thought you must have given him a hard time. I see. Did I cause you any trouble, Mitsuri-san? Not at all. It's normal for Mato to torment the younger students, and I think that kind of thing will be good mental training for him. I see, that's good. Well, I'll make up for it some other time. Alright, don't be put off by and come again. Don't be put off and come by again. I head straight home. It's not like I don't have any business with the archery club or the student council, but I haven't had enough free time for them these past few days. Once I leave school, Tosaka Rain is no longer a student. The rest of the day is not for myself as a student. Instead, I must become a magus of the Tosaka family. Back in my house, I'm greeted by the blinking light on my answering machine. It's unusual for me to get any messages. It was just as I thought. It's you, Kirei. I already know what he's going to say, but he'll be scary later if I don't listen. When I press the play button, I hear a familiar voice. It's me. I'm sure you know, but tomorrow's the deadline, Rin. It's a problem for me if you take it easy. There are only 2 remaining seats. I must ensure all the masters are arranged quickly. The priest shows no mercy as he gets right to the point. If you wish to abandon your right to become a master, contact me today. It takes some time to dispatch a substitute magus. Liar. Someone like you would be able to arrange a substitute in no time. You already show signs of the command spell. Quickly summon your servant and open the command spell. Unless, of course, you're not planning to be part of the Holy Grail War. If you value your life, you should run to the church quickly. The message ends there. His words are concise. He's telling me that if I'm to fight, I should get ready by today, and if I'm not going to fight, I'm an eyesore and should just retire quickly. If you don't have to tell me that. Well, it can't be helped. Today is as late as the deadline can be extended. Fortunately, I was able to decode Father's will last night. My preparations are ready. All that remains is, yes, obtaining the qualification to enter this fight. Holy Grail War, a fight to the death for the one and only Holy Grail. A ritual of the Holy Grail passed down for hundreds of years, huh? The Magi who participate in the Holy Grail War are called Masters. This is not so much a rank, rather it indicates one who is in control. The requirement to enter the Holy Grail War, that is to summon a familiar called a servant and to form a contract with it. No matter how great a magus a person is, one is not considered a master until he has a servant under him. Servants are beings very different from normal familiars. The methods of summoning and controlling them are different as well. A magus planning to enter the Holy Grail War usually prepares a catalyst, someone, but really, I wish Father could have left me something with a connection to Saber. I don't have anything with any connection. I can summon a servant. If I wanted to, I could summon right now and form a contract with it. The town's sacred ground is under our jurisdiction. As a daughter of the Tosaka family, which has protected this town through generations, I will not lose the Magi from elsewhere. With that said, I guess you can't go out to sea without a compass, or perhaps I should say, things are completely unplanned. Servants are attracted to symbols. If you want to summon a strong servant, you need something that has a connection to that servant. In other words, a sword, armor, talisman, bone of the servant, or something like that. Something valuable beyond belief. I was hoping there'd be something like that in Father's will, but no, this is a great trump card too, but still. The pendant I found last night in the basement is one of the best artifacts in its class. It's great in its own way. It's great, but it won't help me summon my servant. Huh, it's fine. I can do it without the help of that sort of thing. After all, there can't exist any masters capable of handling Saber other than myself. Alright, I've decided. I don't want to make Kirei complain anymore by postponing it any longer, and it's not like me to wait until the last second. It'll come down to just trying it. I'll face the summoning tonight with full power and obtain Saber by force. Late at night, the clock is about to strike 2. This is the best time frame for my magical energy. The peak of my magical energy is at exactly 2 in the morning. Since this will be my first and last chance, I can't afford any mistakes. Withdrawal within elimination. Engrave 4 areas and surround with the summoning circle. Right. I engrave the circle onto the floor of the basement. You don't need a large-scale summoning to summon the servant. Servants are called forth by the Holy Grail, as the Master's priority is to keep the servant in this world and to supply them with enough magical energy to substantiate. The Holy Grail takes care of the summoning. Baron silver iron. Stone for foundation and the Grand Duke of Contracts. My great master. Schweinorg. For the ancestor. Wall for the descending winds, the four gates shall close and come out crown. Let the three-forked road to the kingdom cycle. Still, I continue with the greatest concentration. I draw the magic circle, normally written in blood, with my melted jewels. I'm using half the jewels I've saved up, so I can't fail for financial reasons, too. Enclose. 5 times for each repetition. Just destroy the enclosed time. It's almost 2 in the morning. Completing the magic circle passed down through the Tosaka family, I face it with all my power. Enfant. Flip the formless switch inside me. I feel a sensation as if the contents of my body are being exchanged. The usual nerves invert into circuits transmitting magical energy. From this point, Sakura is not human. I shall become a tool to attain mystic power. I am melting from my fingertips. No, I am being filled from my fingertips. The mana I am taking in is so concentrated that the original sense of my body are being repainted. So being filled is the same as being destroyed. Power that fills me is pure magical energy from the air. It is absorbed by my body, which has become a circuit, and transformed it into a different form of magical energy. The body of a magus is nothing more than a circuit to connect the spiritual and the real. We call the result of this the many mystic occurrences it has made real magic. My body is burning hot, an illusion of myself growing horns, an illusion of wings growing out of my back, an illusion of scales forming on my hands, a sensation of being in water. I start to sweat. Stab. Swords are driven into my body. This is the pain caused by my human body rejecting itself as the magic circuit. No matter how great a magus you are, a human is human. Pain will result as long as people use magic in a human body. But I do not loosen my circulation. At the end of this pain, on the verge of elimination, lies the place of connection. Pain running through my left arm, the magic crest starts up on its own to help me, and as a result violates my nerves even more. Harvested mana in my blood. If that is burning iron, then the magic crest itself is like nerve made of thorns. It runs through my body like a centipede with fangs. I lose myself within the pain, and at the same time, I feel that I have reached my goal. My overly sensitive hearing keeps recognizing the sound of the clock in the living room. 10 more seconds until 2 in the morning. The power within me is perfect and flawless. I announce. Start. I take the mana I've absorbed and turn it into fixed magical energy. And now, I have only to empty out the mana within me to move to the engine called the Summoning Circle. I announce. The body shall be under my command. My fate shall be determined by thy sword. Follow the call of the Holy Grail. If thou wouldst obey this mind and this reason, then answer my call. My vision closes. The fifth element, said to be unperceivable by human eyes, is before me. Though in fear of being broken by it, vision shuts itself down. Make an oath here. I am the oath, the one who shall become the virtue of all afterworld. I am the one who shall lay out the evil of all afterworld. Thou art 7 heavens clad in 3 great words. Emerge from the ring of control, guardian of balance. Perfect. It's so perfect, I feel like I'm tugging on a whale with a fishing rod. Perfect, I've drawn the strongest card for sure. Perfect, I've drawn the strongest card for sure. Jeez, I can't wait for my vision to return. My vision should recover in a matter of seconds, and there will be the summoned servant right in front of me. Nothing. Huh? Nothing is nothing. There is no change. I've raged out that much ether, and nothing has formed. And on top of that, I hear an explosion in the living room. Why? I run. I keep running without thinking. I run up the basement stairs and into the living room. The door's broken? The living room door is crooked. There's no point in turning the handle. The door doesn't open, even as I push and pull it. You're in my way. With a crash, I kick through the door into the living room. And the instant I walk into the living room, I understand everything. The living room is a big mess. It's full of... There he is! Archer! Living room is in a big mess. It's full of rubble that must have fallen from the ceiling. And there's one man sitting on it cockily. Without a doubt, that is the cause of this mess. But there's one thing more important than that. The wall clock is still ticking away time, having escaped destruction. That reminds me. Yes, that's right. Come to think of it, every clock in my house was an hour early today for some reason. In other words, it's 1 in the morning right now. There's actually 1 more hour until my magical energy is at its peak. I did it again. I can do most things just like everyone else, but I have one hereditary curse. That is, to make the biggest mistakes at the most important times. Well, what's done is done. I should reflect on my actions. I am mad at my own stupidity. Still irritated, I glare at the man sitting there like he's important. So, what are you? Those are your first words? I guess I've been called to a terrible master. The man in red gives an exaggerated shrug. Maybe I'm the most unlucky of all, he adds. I do declare, this guy has a twisted personality. But this would be the servant? Since they call it a familiar, I thought it was something shapeless, but this is human-like. No, that's wrong. Just standing here, I can tell this thing has outrageous amounts of magical energy. Don't be fooled by its appearance. This is certainly an existence far beyond human, a ghost that has reached the level of spirits as human. I can't be overwhelmed forever. The thing is mine, so I'll have to change my thinking from now on. Just check, but you are my servant, right? That's what I'd like to ask. Are you my master? This is the first time I've been summoned so roughly. Though to be honest, I still can't grasp the situation. It's the first time for me as well. I'll have to refuse that kind of question. I see, but when I was summoned, you were in front of me. Explain to me what's going on. Really? Don't joke around and tell me you're like a newborn chick who can only determine your master when you open your eyes. The unknown servant frowns. It's a rather vague response, and I cannot tell if he's angry at my complaint or impressed at how correct I am. Well, anyway, what I'm asking is, you're my servant and not anyone else's, right? So we clarify this, I have no obligations to answer any other questions. That's what you say after failing your summoning? In this case, I think there are other things you should say. There's nothing else. We have to clearly determine who's the master first. The servant raises his eyebrow. Perhaps because it wasn't a perfect summoning, this guy isn't even trying to hide his dissatisfaction with me. So we have to define who's master, huh? Your actions are full of mistakes, but it seems your mouth is rather better. Yes, I certainly agree with that opinion. Unless we make it clear who is stronger and who weaker, it'll be hard to handle each other. The servant looks at me meaningfully as he lays in the rubble. Who's the weaker? Yeah, I'm a servant, so I'll accept this master-servant relationship, but that's only according to the contract, right? Who's superior, and if the other is worthy to fight alongside with, that's a different story. Well, are you a magus worthy to be my master, young lady? The servant grins. He smashes my house, and that attitude like he's king makes me angry enough. But now he asks me if I'm worthy to be a master? I'm not asking for your opinions. All I'm asking if you are my servant or not. I stare straight glare at him. I will not lose to someone who looks down on me this frankly. I see. So you're saying such an obvious question isn't even worth answering. How courageous. Your spirit is that of a splendid master, but I said, don't get the order wrong. It's the duty of the summoner to confirm first. Now answer me. You are my servant, right? Step forward, ready to attack, depending on his answer. Jeez, you are stubborn, young lady. We're not getting anywhere this way. I guess it can't be helped. Let's say I am your servant. In that case, would you be my master? Just hypothetically. Of course. If you're my servant summoned by me, who else but me would be your master? I somehow cool my boiling head and glare at this rude guy. Oh, I see. Well, let's suppose that's true. Then where's the proof that you are my master? The servant talks nonsense, grinning. He must think I'll panic about this proof of master thing. Here, this is the proof I'm your master, right? I show him the command seal on the back of my hand. Don't think I don't know anything. My father talked a lot about masters, so I know about the command spell. Are you satisfied? Are you still going to complain? I thrust before him the proof that I'm a master. The servant in the rubble looks confused, then, man, are you serious, young lady? His face clouds with discontent. Well, what do you mean, am I serious? I mean, that way of thinking. So you're a master if you have a command spell? A command spell is only a tool that governs the servant. Jeez, you act like a master just because of that? What I wanted to see was, are you worthy for me to pledge my loyalty to? That's true, but you'd normally think of the command spell when talking about the proof that one's a master. So what? I'm not fit to be a master then? I'd like that, but no go. Since you have the command spell, it seems you are my summoner. It's unbelievable, but it seems you really are my master. He gives an exaggerated shrug of his shoulders. This is bad. My boiling point is so low, it seems I won't be able to cool down in time. I'm not happy, but I'll accept it. You're my master for now, but I have conditions as well. From now on, I will ignore your opinions, I will decide how to fight, and you will follow my plans. This is the best I'll compromise on. You don't mind that, right, young lady? I think this is it, father. I'm almost at my limit. See, you accept unhappily, but what do you mean about ignoring my opinions? You're my servant, right? I ask him in a trembling voice just in case. There's the issue of the command spell too, so this is my last warning, the biggest compromise I can make. And to that, yeah, in name only, so formally I'll obey you, but I'm the one doing the fighting. You can hide in the basement here and stay there until the Holy Grail War ends. That way, even an experienced person like you should make it out alive. He tells me he has no hope for me with eyes full of disdain. Are you angry? No, I will respect your position, of course. I'm called to help my master win after all. My victory is yours, and I shall give you everything that I earn in this fight. You shouldn't have any complaints about that, right? You wouldn't be able to use a command spell anyway. Well, you can leave the rest to me. You just worry about your own safety. I'm pissed. Fine, if you say that, I'll use it. Command spell. By the order of the Holy Grail, give the law of obedience to this one, my servant. The symbol on my right hand throbs, the 3 command spells. The essence of the Holy Grail War, the 3 claims to the servant's unconditional obedience is now used. Are you not even thinking? Use the command spell for such a general thing? Too late now. First of all, I wasn't expecting this either. I hate myself so much I want to die. To go ahead and use the important command spell for something like this. So, leaving the ruined living room behind, we moved to my room. In front of me is a servant who should be absolutely obedient for my command spell. He's there, but... I see. I understand your personality now, Master. How exactly is this absolutely obedient? Just to make sure, do you understand how important the command spell is, Master? I know. It's the right to give your servant 3 orders, right? What about it? Jeez, look, the command spell forces the servant to act according to an order. It doesn't merely stop their actions. It strengthens their actions as well. For example, I can't instantly teleport to somewhere far away, but if you command me to go using your command spell, then assuming we have enough magical energy, such things become possible. This is what is meant by unconditional obedience. It is the 3 crystallizations of a great magic that allows a servant to surpass limits on their ability, even they can't control. Well, only 2 now. I know that. It's fine. We still have 2, and that order I gave you isn't useless either. Man, this was certainly a miscalculation on my part. The command spell works poorly on broad orders. Or broad and long-lasting orders like protect me through this or win this battle. The power of the command spell weakens. Of course, will last a long time, but since the associated pain is weak, some servants will be able to disobey. In contrast, a single simple order like deliver the next blow with all your power or don't break the glass is absolute, and even the most powerful servants will find it hard to disobey. So I think you can guess what I'd like to say next, Master. I get the idea. So you're saying a broad, long-lasting order is meaningless, right? If the effect is weak, servants can act against it. It's better to make a single absolute order than to give weak ones, right? Right. Basically, the command spell is a way to bring about miracles beyond our abilities, stupidly using it for orders that can be achieved by other means. Other means is unforgivable. Whew. All right. That'll be it for tonight. I started a little late, unfortunately, and it's a little shorter today, but I had some good conversation. I was able to talk about my history with Fate and experiences with Fate. Talk about some visual novels for a little bit and things of that nature. So overall, had a pretty good time. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and I hope everybody has a good night. Bye-bye.